The smartest marketers from all walks of life, in every industry, talking about the latest trends, opportunities, and challenges. Insights from marketing executives at organizations like National Geographic, IBM, and the Baltimore Ravens. And tips from business authors and experts known around the world. Ways to improve your community's marketing, starting now, right here on the Marketing Smarts Podcast.
That's right. It's not the Marketing Smarts Podcast, though. It's the Marketing Smarts live show. But I'm super excited to be with you on this Tuesday morning to bring you this information. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the good stuff that you're here for, because we're talking about a really, really important subject. All right. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts Podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. That's right. I want to welcome you. It's a beautiful morning. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you yet another amazing episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about navigating the power of B2B communication by getting to the point. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and the host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Steve Woodruff. Now, if you didn't know, Steve Woodruff is the king of clarity. His 37 years on the front lines of sales, marketing, consulting, and entrepreneurship have uniquely equipped Steve to guide others in the principles and practices of clear and effective communication. Steve has deep experience in corporate training and workshop facilitation for a wide variety of companies, from startups to top 5 pharma. He is the author of the business book Clarity Wins and his new book, The Point. Now, remember, the clips of Steve Woodruff today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Steve Woodruff and myself, make sure to tune in to the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. All the right links in all the right places at just the right time. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking with Steve about navigating the power of B2B communication and helping us get to the point. In this first question, I wanted to ask Steve how we as B2B marketers can get started with better communication online, in our inbox, or in life, in our B2B marketing, or dare I say, all the humans on the planet. And this, well, one planet, not planets. I don't know why I put an S there, but hey, here's what Steve had to share.
Absolutely. And that's the point of this book. This book is absolutely chock full of actionable tactics of how to do these things. I don't keep it theoretical or academic. I go right into, here's how you do email, here's how you do presentations, here's how you do branding, here's how you do effective leadership, because you can apply these principles to every single form and modality of communication. In fact, the most radical thing about this book, George, is it's actually written for 8 billion human beings. We all have one competition, the noise and distraction. We all have one customer, the human brain, and we can all use one formula, one set of rules and tools to win. This is a book for everybody. So the lowest hanging fruit when I do my workshops with my corporate clients is email. Okay, so we all do email. We're all fighting the battle of the email inbox. And the most important visual real estate is the subject line in the first sentence. If you don't, in the subject line in the first sentence, give me a point of relevance, of interest, of immediacy, of action, you're competing with dozens and dozens and dozens of other emails flooding into my box. And what do we do with an inbox? We skim and delete, skim and delete. That's the point of opportunity. You can differentiate your message by bringing forward the most relevant thing right into the subject line. And that's the most immediate change anybody can make is make your messages quick hit and stratify them. Get that distilled essence, that top of the pyramid, right in the first visual real estate, and then you can move on to the details later.
Are you crushing it at email communication? Ooh, maybe, maybe not. Are you using the points Steve shared in your subject lines and in your messages? Are you making your messages in your inbox and other places quick hits and strategic? Put the answer to that in the chat pane or let me know on X using the hashtag #MP2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. We'll get back to Steve Woodruff and his thoughts on navigating the power of B2B communication by getting to the point. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the MarketingProfs community? If not, become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is Industry Jargon is the Silent Killer of B2B Marketing by Jessica Marie. In the realm of B2B marketing, a subtle but persuasive problem looms. Ironically, one of the industry's own creation. Clarity and meaning have become casualties in an ongoing war of words that often serve little purpose beyond filling content quotas or satisfying superficial engagement metrics. Woo! As marketing professionals, we pride ourselves on our ability to craft compelling narratives, to turn the mundane into the extraordinary. Yet in this endeavor, we've inevitably forged our own Achilles heel, an over-reliance on jargon and buzzwords that rather than clarify, obscure our vision and deem our messages virtually meaningless to the potential prospects and customers. I did that last part. It costs us our customers and ultimately our bottom line. Hey, to read this article, check out the link below when the live show is over. So let's get back to Steve Woodruff and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. In this next clip, I wanted to ask Steve, where does it always go wrong? What are the communication hurdles that B2B marketers, dare I say humans, are facing in their inbox or maybe other communication points in life? And this is what Steve had to share.
It's always the default setting. I've got to say more. I've got to say more. I've got to include more. I've got to give more detail. I've got to have an email with 3 different items instead of 1 item. In fact, one of the other changes I've made very, very severely in my own life, I tended to be more comprehensive in my emailing before. I figured, you got to let people know everything. Well, the more themes or points you have in an email, the harder it is for anybody to respond. And so now almost all of my emails are very single theme, short. Here's what I want. Here's what I'm looking for. Please give me this answer. And the response level is so much different than when somebody's got to plow through and try to figure out, what are the 3 points that Steve's giving me and which one matters? And, I got to go find that. And, what's easier to do? Just delay, wait. And that's what kills us. Too much information, people shut down. And I don't want to shut people down. So when I do a presentation, when I write a book, when I do a blog post, when we do a podcast, I want somebody to feel engaged immediately. I got this one sweet spot, this one moment of truth where I've got to make sure I've got you. And that means I've got to give the what's in it for me right away. Now, George, from sales, that the what's in it for me is the important thing. Tell people the benefits, not the feature. But in fact, it's not just sales. It's all communication. The brain is asking one question. The operating system of the brain has one front-end question. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And that's why we have to lead with relevance. What the human brain wants, the reticular activating system in particular, which is the master filter that gets us from 11 million down to the 60 bits. The RAS is the focus machine. And what it wants is, what's in it for me right now? And so you have to lead your communication with something that grabs people.
Are you killing the conversation with too much information? Does your audience feel engaged immediately? Are you giving them the what's in it for me in your communication efforts? Hey, we'll get back to Steve Woodruff in a few minutes with some more amazing advice. But first, it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is 5 components of effective sales and marketing communication by Mark Organ. Communication is just as important in business relationships as it is in personal relationships. Most marketers are aware of this, but many do not know how and when to properly communicate their message to prospective customers. In today's sophisticated marketplace, overcoming communication obstacles is critical, especially early on in the sales process. It is increasingly obvious that the competitive battle for customers is being won or lost at the top of your sales funnel. So how does a firm make itself stand out from the rest? Well, check out the article and find out more. Article 2 this week is 5 tips for effective communication with disrupted teams by Helen Yelda Garcia. Flexible work was Helena's normal long before pandemic. In fact, the bulk of her career in the video collaboration industry has been, well, hybrid. Helena's first experience with working from home was in 2007 when Codian, the company she was a part of, was acquired by another company, Tandberg. Man, I'm trying on these names, ladies and gentlemen, but some of these companies and what they name their businesses, woo! At that time, she was given the choice to relocate closer to the new headquarters or carry out her work remotely. She chose the latter, and so began a steep learning curve as she experimented with ways to connect to her office-based teammates from her home office. To help her, she had video conferencing devices that were cutting edge for their day, and yet she often felt like a fly on the wall, one step removed from the action. Want to know what happened? Want to know what she learned? Want to keep learning more? If so, check out the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. Okay, back to Steve Woodruff. Let's dive back into this conversation of navigating the power of B2B communication by getting to the point. In this clip, I wanted to ask Steve, what does communication success look like? Meaning, how do we know we have reached communication nirvana? Heck, is that even possible?
It's always the well, the measurement of success starts with defining what your point is. You've got to begin with the end in mind. And so the reason why we begin with have a point is that if you're going to move from A to B, you got to know what B is. And that's the result. That's the thing we're looking for. So whether it's open rates on an email, whether it's people passing exams after a training course, whether it's kids obeying their parents, I mean, this goes down to every single level. We've got to know what we're aiming at and then see if we can have a result. But there's no way to measure a result that's vague. You can't measure fog. And a lot of times we're just throwing fog out there and we have no idea if we've succeeded because there's no way to even determine what we were trying to do.
Are you defining what your point is before trying to actually communicate that point? Are you starting with the end in mind? Are you paying attention to the communication techniques that will impact your success in life? Or are you just throwing fog out there and hoping for the best? We're going to get some words of wisdom from Steve Woodruff here in a few minutes, but right now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the MarketingProfs community. Yep, time for From the hashtag MP B2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you and everybody else. So to the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag, and second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's again Marketing Profs, but there's a good reason. Check this post out. Podcaster, how do you stand out and create loyal fans? Jay Acunzo is a podcaster and producer who wants audiences to resonate with their podcasts they listen to and the people behind them. But you can't do that without realizing what does not work. In this clip from Jay's B2B forum session in 2023, Jay reveals why podcast doesn't need to be the best. It needs something more. It needs you and your mission. Watch this clip for Jay's session or read the transcript. There's a link in the actual live show notes down there. No matter what your marketing focus is, join us at B2B Forum this November to find insightful, inspiring sessions on crafting marketing that matters to your audience. Join us in Boston for this world's most actionable B2B marketing conference, B2B Forum. Hey, by the way, discounted tickets are available now, and groups of 3+ save even more. Browse the hashtag MPB2B program to see what's waiting for you in November. By the way, there's hashtag MPB2B, hashtag B2B, hashtag marketing, hashtag B2B forum, hashtag podcast, hashtag video. But you need to check out the description. Click on that link, check the post, read more, learn more about podcasting, what not to do, what to do, and also about the B2B forum. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next to get the spotlight shown on you? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and X. Okay, let's kick it back to Steve Woodruff and some words of wisdom around this topic of navigating the power of B2B communication by getting to the point. Here's what Steve Woodruff wanted to leave us with as far as words of wisdom. Listen up.
Well, I'll give you one. This will probably twist your head a little bit. But I've heard this quoted by more than one person. Dave Ramsey, the finance guru, uses it all the time. He says, "To be unclear is to be unkind." If we're not clear with our intentions, expectations, with our words, we are actually being unkind. Clarity is a form of love. Being able to speak the truth or speak whatever with clear words and intentions is love. And so, I believe that whether it's teachers, preachers, corporate leaders, politicians, this is the way it's to be considerate to people, is to actually speak in such a way that people can understand and know where you're going and what's going on. And many politicians practice obfuscation, which is fogging it up and making it because they don't want to actually be clear. But man, I would love to have more and more leaders who know exactly what they're saying and say it right, say it simply, say it briefly, so that we actually know where we're going.
Are you being unclear? Does that mean that you're being unkind to those that you're trying to communicate with? Love the people that you're communicating with. I love this, by the way. And create a clear message. Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use the hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. Woo, what a show. Communicate better, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. Head to the description below. Click on the link to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Steve Woodruff and keep on learning more about navigating the power of B2B communication by getting to the point. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. And if you got value out of today's show, hit that like, better yet, share it with a coworker, a friend, or hey, maybe your grandma or grandpa. Maybe they'll want to listen. To keep learning more, hit the subscribe or watch additional MarketingProfs videos on your favorite social channel or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episodes on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show real soon.